Advent of Code 2023, day 9. And it is Mirage maintenance. Okay. That's right. We're wandering through the desert and we had the map the last couple of days. I wonder if that ghost elf will come back. You ride the camel through the sandstorm and stop where the ghost's maps told you to stop. The sandstorm subsequently subsides, somehow seeing you standing in an oasis. Somebody went for the alliteration there, huh? The camel goes to get some water and you stretch your neck. As you look up, you discover what must be yet another giant floating island, this one made of metal. That must be where the parts to fix sand machines come from. There's even a hang glider partially buried in the sand here. Once the sun rises and heats up the sand, you might be able to use the glider and the hot air to get all the way up to the metal island. Interesting. While you wait for the sun to rise, you admire the oasis hidden here in the middle of Desert Island. It must have a delicate ecosystem. You might as well take some ecological readings while you wait. Sure, because why not? Maybe you can report any environmental instabilities you find to someone so the oasis can be around for the next sandstorm-worn traveler. You pull out your handy oasis and instability sensor, which good thing I brought that with me, and analyze your surroundings. Oh, I see. Clever pun, initialism there. Oasis. The oasis produces a report of many values and how they are changing over time, your puzzle input. Each line of the report contains the history of a single value. For example, 0369 12 15, 136 10 15 21, 10 13. Okay. To best, I see patterns in here, right? To best protect the oasis, your environmental report should include a prediction of the next. Oh, okay. Interesting. The prediction of the next value in each history. To do this, start making a new sequence from the difference at each step of your history. If your sequence is not all zeros, repeat this process using the sequence you just generated as the input sequence. Once all the values in your latest sequence are zeros, you can extrapolate what the next value of the original history should be. Oh, interesting. And then he's explaining, I'm just scanning this with my eyeballs, as one does. He's basically explaining how to solve the problem. You can start filling the placeholders from the bottom up. Well, you know this one's 3. 15 plus 3 is that all you have to do is just add them? So 1 plus 0 is 1. 5 plus 1 is 6. Yeah. 15 plus 6 is 21. Okay. 1 plus 0 is 1. 6 plus 1 is 7. 21 plus 7 is... Oh, okay. 2, 8, 15, 8 is 23. 45 is 68. 68. So, I think in the past, in previous problems, he would have just said, here's this, figure out how to extrapolate it, and then you'd have to do a lot of Googling on how to extrapolate series of numbers. But now he's just telling you how to do it. So I can see why this might be one of the easier ones. Let's get the input, see what it looks like. Yeah. Wow. Look at these sequences. These are some cool sequences. And there's 200 different sequences we have to get through. Okay. I'm trying to think of, I bet we just, okay. So I know I have a number reader. Let's take a look at it. AOC lib source lib. Yeah, I have a function which reads in from a file a vector of numbers, which is exactly what we want. So that makes it easy to figure out. Oops, wrong one. Nums, vec. We'll do I64s like I do. This music's still too loud for me. Let me adjust it. There we go. All right. So it's just self nums is equal to AOC lib numbers input 2023-09.text. And we can print out how many we got. Oh, we have to provide the I have to give it the separator. Just separator is a space. All right, so we got 200 Let's print out the first one, the first row actually, and see how that looks. Yeah, that looks like the same one that I remember seeing. I remember seeing 1218, and I remember thinking, oh, that got very big very fast, didn't it? All right. So we just do diffs, right? Let's write a little solve. Just call it solve. Nums, and it takes a list of I64s. And returns an I64, which would be the value that comes after the last number in the sequence. What I should do is probably add these as test input, because I'll probably mess up, I'll have an off by one error somewhere. So let me add these. I can just do 3 bang s space comma, right? Oh, I have to do a G. Percent does the whole thing. So what am I doing wrong? I thought I could just say space comma G. Oh, it's trying to execute a shell command. There's a way to do it. Oops. And I'm just not doing it for whatever reason. So I'll just do it by hand here. I call myself a Vim expert, and I can't even do a basic and so we can say for test data in this comma J, there we go, close bracket, solve test data. What is test data? It's I32, so I'm going to make these all I64s, right? And let's just return 0, just so we can see all the zeros coming out. That failed. Why did it fail? Oh, because I'm not printing it out. Duh. There we go. Perfect. So now we just need to write the solver. So we can grab all the differences between all the numbers. And we should come up with, for the first one, we should come up with 33333. Let's do print, whoa, what was that? Println nums. Let mut diffs equal, let's just see if I can get it right. Nums iter, oh no, we can just say nums windows 2 map pair of 1 minus pair of 0. These are probably references, right? No, that works. And then we can just collect into a vec of I64, right? That gives us this, right? And then we can just print in that. That's what we get. That failed because I took the 0 out. Yeah, so it's doing one level. We could do a second level. That's annoying that it wrapped. Oops. Come on. We can just do this. Will I keep it on one line? Nope. All right. Oh, I have to change this to diffs, right? I just noticed that these are both 3s. Yeah, so that gets down to 0s. Here, this one gets down to 1s. And this one gets down to 0, 2, 4, 6, 8. Okay. So we just loop until they're all 0s, right? That's what they said. Just that's the way to do it. Or I guess we can just loop until they're all equal. Or if the first one is equal to the second one, we can loop until that point. That might be an easier way than to scan the entire list for zeros. should we live dangerously and just, so we can say loop? Oh, right. And then we want to add up all the numbers at the end, and that'll be our answer. Okay. So let answer is equal to nums.last.unwrap. We'll make it mutable and deref it as one does. So then we'll loop this way. We'll do the first diffs. We'll add the last one as our answer. Oh, we could say here, if diffs of 0 is equal to diffs of 1, then we're done. Return answer. Otherwise, answer is going to be the last value that we just calculated, right? Diffs last unwrap. Matt says, I'm not sure if just two numbers are enough. Well, we'll figure it out, right? But if this is 0, oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah, if the difference here, if they're equal, if the first two are equal, we're going to get a 0 at the beginning. But that's not necessarily true. Because these two are equal here. Yeah, you're right. Maybe just to save, maybe this is a very premature optimization, right? If I can do this, and I could say diffs.iter.sum I64 equals 0, right? I could do that. That way, if they're not equal, then don't even bother summing them all up. The Dev Dad, thank you for the raid. Welcome followers of Dev Dad. I Heart Coding. Great name. Thank you for the follow. All right, so this should return the answer, and this just keeps summing them up, and this 0 will never get hit. Let's see what happens. That blew up. Oh, because I messed up my, I forgot to put the 0 here. There we go. Yeah, this is what I was worried about, is that we now have an infinite loop. Oops. Oh, because I need to change this to diffs. And I need to actually initialize the diffs up here somewhere, because we need to have it in the loop. I guess we can assume that we're always going to have 1. This is kind of lazy coding, but nums. This one's the nums. All right, so we got 18, 28, and 68 for the test input, and that's correct. I remember the 18, and here's the 28 and the 68. Okay. So that's for the test data. We'll comment that out. And now this will be self nums iter. Map. Let me see if I can do map solve. Because it is what we're calling, right? And then we just sum those up, right? Sum I64. That blew up. Method sum exists. What's it looking for? Oh, it's looking for a vec. Oh, Globe Rambler. Thank you for the follow. Matt says you can't. Don't ask how I know. Okay. But I think if I change this to a vec, right? Because that's what it's saying. It's saying I tried to use, I have a function that's passing in a reference to a slice, and I'm expecting a reference to a vec. Unfortunately, that's going to make Clippy complain. Oh, we got a number. Is that what I just summed them up? Is that what I was supposed to do? Yes. What is the sum of these extrapolated values? I guess I just assumed. All right, let's see if this is the right number. And if not, then we'll have to go back into bug. My answer is too high. All right. Matt says you can do XS solve XS. Oh, yeah, right. in the map here, you mean? I could say, nums, solve nums. Actually, nums might already be a reference. Yeah. And then this can switch back. It just looks cleaner to have it there. Unfortunately, it's the wrong answer. And we got to figure out why. Oh, because I'm being dumb. I'm seeing is the sum is 0. That's dumb. I have to make sure that they're all 0. What's a good way to do that? Filter x not equal to 0, count equals 0. And x is probably needs to be derived. Oh, derived twice. And did I miss a? Yeah, that doesn't need to be there. All right, that's a different number. Is it smaller? 24761. Yes, it's a bit smaller. Okay. Hey, that's the right answer. Matt says any or all. So, okay, how does that work? Let's try that. Any. Test if an element of the iterator matches a predicate. Okay. So if any is not equal to 0, and then I can not it, and then there's all. Okay. Num equals 0. Let's see if it gives us the same number. 24761, and it blew up because I've deleted my brace here. 24761. Okay, I like that better than the filter. Ms. Delic says all should be more performant than filtering. I don't know. Unfortunately, I don't know the internals. I just don't know. But this gives me the answer for part 1, so I'm pretty happy. Let's see Clippy. Clippy doesn't mind anything I did. Yeah, it's just this. Right? It would be really nice to just be able to throw the thing in here. If I did this, that won't compile. Oh, solve. That won't compile because this needs to be a vector, if we want to call it that way. Oh. Vec. But now Clippy says, change this. Writing vec instead of this involves a new object where a slice will do. So it's saying, it's better to do it that way, but map wants the vector. So I don't know that there's any good way around that. Neil Mortal says, are you using iTerm? Yeah, you can see right up here. I'm using iTerm 2. Uberick says, what are you using for the hot reload? This is called Bacon. I'll hit question mark here so you can see it. I'm running 212. I don't know if that's the latest version. If you do bang bacon in the chat, or if you go to this URL, it'll give you that. It's like Cargo Watch, but it does all of these different jobs. So I can just hit C to run Clippy or hit R to run it. I can even kick off all the tests. There are no tests in this one, so there are no tests to run. And it's like Cargo Watch, but it does all the things. All right, so nums, solve nums. Wow, I cannot type today. 24761. Good. Git status. Git add source. Git commit -m. 2023 day 9 part 1. And Vim. Let's see, 2309. All right, let's see what part 2 is. Of course, it would be nice to have even more history included in your report. Surely it's safe to just extrapolate backwards as well, right? For each history, repeat the process of finding the differences until the sequence of differences is entirely 0. Okay, we're already doing that. Then, rather than adding a 0 to the end and filling in the next values of each previous sequence, you should instead add a 0 to the beginning of your sequence of zeros and then fill in the new first values for each previous sequence. In particular, here's what the third example history looks like when extrapolating back in time. Okay. 2 minus 0 is 2. 0 minus 2 is minus 2. 3 minus minus 2 is 5. And 10 minus 5 is 5. Huh. I mean, it doesn't seem like it's hard to do. It's just fiddly because you have to subtract things in the correct order. The neat thing about addition is you don't care about, left versus right-hand side. But here we care about left-hand side versus right-hand side. So I don't think I can just subtract everything from the initial value. Mirage says just rev of part 1. That doesn't make sense to me. I mean, we could try it with the test input. All right, let's try it with the test input. They give you what the answers for that, right? -3 for the first history, 0 for the second, and this is the third history is 5. Okay, I don't think it's going to work. Just reversing it. But why not? Let's give it a shot. Does this create a temporary which is borrowed later or something? No. Iter. Collect. I thought you could do that. Oh. Because it's a vec of references to I-64. So we got to copy them. -3, 0, and 5. Huh, that seems to work. That surprised me. I thought we would just do it in the solve and get both answers at the same time. Let me see if this works here. And if so, I still want to do mine. Self nums, iter, map, nums, solve. Open paren. This thing. Nums dot. This. Right? Sum I-64. Oh, I got double dots there. Oh, I forgot to do that. 1072. Should we try it? It feels like cheating to have done it this way. That's the right answer. How about that? I'm very surprised it worked. I'm very surprised that worked because it didn't feel like that should work. We don't need the test data anymore. I think that's the only cleanup we have to do. Clippy's happy. Yeah, so this was a pretty straightforward day, huh? I'm glad I spent a little time with Mathemagic then in the beginning. The only thing is, the parsing was super easy because I wrote a numbers thing many, many years ago, which helped out. All right. Although, it's not hard to parse numbers. Git status, git commit -am 2023 day 9 part 2. Very good. All right. Now let's take a look at Tommy's solution here.